Hey guys, welcome to today's reading. This is all about the season of change you're entering into. So, what is changing in your life? What do you need to be aware of with that? We're going to be getting some messages all about the changes happening for you right now. And today we have a selection of different cards for you to choose from. So, if you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm so happy to have you. And basically, you're going to see which of these cards is sticking out to you, calling your name, drawing your attention in towards it. And then, as soon as you make up your mind, just scroll down to the timestamps in the comment and the description and jump right into your pile. Also, if you like how I read tarot, then you can head on over to my Patreon to get access to more of it. I just posted a reading all about how you can improve your love life and get a boyfriend. And before that, I posted one all about what you're manifesting, as well as some career and money readings, also some love readings. But there are so many additional readings over on Patreon, over 80 exclusive readings you'll only get access to over on Patreon, and you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. So if all that sounds good to you and you're interested in joining us, then head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments and the description for Patreon. Also, if you would like to book a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. If you have one really specific subject you want to delve into, some questions you want to get to the bottom of with astrology or with tarot or with channeling, then you can do that again at my website, briarrosetarot.com. You can also do an open channeling session, an energy check-in, and just see what your guides want to come through with. Either one works. The link for that is in my description. Like I said, briarrosetarot.com. So that's about all I have to say, guys. Now, if you need more time to decide, you can totally feel free to rewind, pause, take as much time as you need, but we're going to go ahead and jump into pile one. Hey, pile one, welcome to your reading. So if you guys picked this indecision card, this is going to be your reading. So for your other cards, you guys got envy, first chakra archangel Michael, broken heart, and door to value. So I do feel like you, pile one, are going to be going through a major change, major upheaval in your life that is going to prepare you for a lot of success. But I'm not going to lie, I am picking up on this broken heart energy really strong. It does feel like whatever happens is upsetting for you. You're sad about it. It doesn't feel like an easy decision, easy choice, or something that just falls into place really nicely. It feels like there may be something you have to leave behind, or some kind of difficult situation that you're going to have to move through first. And I am hearing fine-tuning. It's almost like maybe certain things that are in your life now wouldn't allow you to go to that place of success and aren't necessarily meant to be there forever. We'll get into more of the details, but I feel like this message is for you not to be afraid of this process, not to be upset about this process, but to trust the unfolding and to know that it is totally working out for your greatest and highest good. I am getting that image in my mind of there are these Buddhist monks and they spend a week making this beautiful artwork, sand artwork. It's super intricate, super elaborate, all these different colors of sand that they use to make this beautiful design. And then at the end of the week or 10 days, however long it takes, they literally destroy it just, in seconds. Just take it with their hand and just smear everything. So it's back to being just a random mix of sand. And the whole reason they do that is to teach that Buddhist principle of non-attachment, and that we're not supposed to we as humans tend to get very overly attached to an outcome, a situation, how something is supposed to look, how it was supposed to go, something we had in our mind, a dream, a vision, whatever. And sometimes it's more important to let life guide us and let life take us on different flows and down the river of life, letting us go to maybe unexpected destinations. And so we need to, as much as possible, embrace that change, embrace the uncertainty, instead of thinking it's a bad thing or we're being punished or it's negative or I can't believe this is happening to me, thinking about this is happening for me. This is a blessing. This is a good thing. And even if it's not, it doesn't have to be the biggest blessing in the world, but it's not a tragedy. You know what I mean? I do feel like you are being divinely protected at this time. We did get the first chakra archangel Michael, and he is the protective angel and he's always ready to leap in to defend us. You can always call upon Archangel Michael if you're in a situation that feels unsafe or threatening, or where you really feel like you need that protection. So I think they want you to know that whatever difficult situation you are dealing with right now, you are being protected. I do feel like a lot of you guys are going to have like a financial glow up. And I'm hearing though that there's something about a lesson you're going through with whatever this disappointment is in. So whatever sector of your life it's in, if you had a romantic breakup, then maybe you are going to be blessed with a new romantic situation, a new relationship. If you had a disappointment in your career, then maybe you're going to be getting a really amazing new job. So think about where this transition is happening, and the eclipse may really be changing it. Eclipses bring change and massive unexpected change. So I do feel like for you guys, it's almost like you're being removed from one situation, and Spirit just sent me a really strong message that you have learned the lesson. Whatever you were wanting to learn or needing to tick off, it's like it's done. And I bet if you really think back to this situation, whatever your goal was when you entered into it, that's like you accomplished it. You know what I mean? Like maybe, you know, you decide to leave a job, or you get let go of from a job, and your boss sits you down and fires you. And that may seem like, gee, that is so negative. How could that ever be positive? But I bet if you look back on that job, you were like, well, I wanted 6 months of experience, and I don't even know if I wanted to stay at this job for long. Like maybe that was your intention going in, but then you got comfortable. Then you started getting into a daily routine of like, yeah, this is good. And, you know, I'm going to this office and I like having this schedule. And, you know, oh, now I have a local sandwich place I go to during lunch. So you kind of developed a routine around it, got attached. But if you really think back to whenever you entered into whatever this was, be it a relationship, be it a job, be it whatever, I feel like your goal was definitely achieved. Like you ticked it off. And maybe if you really think about it, you weren't even interested in something long-term back at the beginning. But again, you got kind of attached, you started feeling safe, started feeling comfortable, and that's totally normal to do as a human. But it's almost like, no need to cry about this. You know, it's kind of like how at the end of summer camp, when you're a kid, you know, you might start crying because you're like, oh, I can't believe summer camp is ending and I'm having to say goodbye to my friends. But that's part of the magic of it. And also, you probably wouldn't want to stay if they were like, well, you know what, actually, you don't have to go back to your house and you can just stay here and live in the woods. And it's going to get really cold because it's about to be fall and then winter. And we're only staying in these like dingy little, you know, houses, like sheds, and sleeping on bunk beds with thin blankets, and there's like, you know, eating every meal in the cafeteria, you'd probably actually be like, yeah, this isn't so great. You know, I'm cool to go back home. But it's almost like that fear of it ending. We humans hate endings. We hate things not having permanence. And actually, it's something we should definitely embrace, and something that can add beauty to a situation or just be what it's supposed to be. So I really feel like Spirit is calling you to not be afraid of whatever changes are happening for you. And like I said, really to embrace them. So let's get into some tarot for you, pile number 1. Can we get some tarot for pile 1, Spirit? Okay, so we got the King of Wands. Oof, 9 of Swords. Yeah, I can definitely feel that energy. The King of Cups. What message do you have for pile 1, Spirit? 1 card at a time, please. Okay, we got the Knight of Cups. Yeah, 9 of Wands. Maybe some of you guys have been trying to like cling to this situation, like the situation is ready to leave and you keep like holding on to it, and you keep like trying to make things work, or trying to freak out about it, trying to get really stressed about it, trying to do things differently. And it may just be time sometimes to like release that and set it down and be like, okay, I mean, if it's meant for you, it will be for you. If it's meant for you, it will flow to you relatively easily. I'm not saying that things in life don't require some level of work. Always, of course, there's going to be some level of work in relationships, in jobs, or whatever. But if it's like breaking your back, 10 of Wands style, and you're just exhausted and you're feeling like, am at my wit's end, I can't do this anymore, then that is a really strong message to take your energy back and kind of like chill a little bit. And maybe even for you, you've just been overthinking the situation. Maybe you've really been in your head. We got the nine of swords, 10 of wands. And that can definitely talk about like overthinking or overworking a situation. And I feel like for you, maybe this is about stepping back into a King of Wands, Knight of Cups energy and just being chill about it, just being calm and just trusting the universe that it's all going to be okay. You know, I always bring it up, but it's because I feel like it's so necessary to bring up, and it's been a blessing that it keeps happening. But every month I have this usual thing that happens that I have to put in my calendar. And so whenever I do, some paper comes up from college. I assume it's a paper because it's someone's name in all caps. I was a philosophy major, so I assume it's some minor philosopher that I can't remember. But it's in all caps. And then it's like, do exclamation point, like 10 exclamation points. And I'm like, I know whenever I wrote that, I can just see that I must have been so stressed. I also didn't really put everything in my calendar. So even the fact that I wrote that in my calendar is notable. Because I'm not super organized with my calendar. I'm not like a Virgo or anything. So yeah, I just put in like the major things. Anyway, and I think it's so funny that that always comes up because I always think, gee, I must have been so freaked out at the time. I must have been so nervous about this. But I know now that, of course, everything worked out to it. Can't even remember what philosopher that was. And don't even remember what that paper was for, what it was about. And everything worked out. And I think sometimes we get so fixated in the moment. We get so stressed about whatever's happening to us right then and there that we don't even pay attention to things long term. We don't even have that long-term vision, knowing that the unfolding is happening exactly as it should. And that even the thing that is really seemingly negative at the time and is causing us a Nine of Swords moment, and we're stressed and we're upset, really is a blessing and really is something that probably later on we're going to look back on and be like, okay, I'm so glad it worked out that way. Yeah. And I'm hearing your, what is it? It's like you're being something about this blessing is a protection, or this protection is a blessing. That's what it is. They keep saying protection, blessing. So I feel like whatever is happening for you, like it is definitely a good thing, even though it may not seem that way at first, even though there may seem like a loss or an ending or something that you're very upset about. This is something that I feel like you're being called to really be brave, know that you're protected. The Archangel Michael is right there, and Archangel Michael is going to defend us. And also that is the lowest chakra, which is kind of, it's not quite our gut, but it's a little below that. But it is kind of coming to my mind of those gut feelings we get. That feeling where maybe we are sick of a situation, it's stressing us out, it's causing us anxiety, it's giving us that like feeling in our gut, you know, when you get stressed about something and you just feel a pit in your stomach. And those are like the lower chakras being activated. So sometimes maybe our body even knows more than we do. You know, it's like I've heard so many stories of people who they get anxiety and they have like, you know, always a pit in their stomach. They always have like, or they get, you know, stomach issues when they're at a certain workplace, and they, you know, and honestly, we carry so much intuition, especially looking at human design. There's so many people that carry their intuition in their like gut, lower stomach, whatever. And I feel like for you guys, this is really about listening to that. And if something is taking you into a place of constant anxiety, constant nerves, if you're stressing about it, if you're freaking out about it, if it's making you really come out of a place of peace for a long time, then that's probably not something that's for you. It could be, you know, sometimes there's situations we're called to be in to learn lessons and we can always choose to take our energy back and stop stressing about it. And I think that's what you're being called to do, is like, stop stressing, stop trying to figure out ways to fix this situation, allow it to flow, allow it to unfold, allow it to be whatever it's going to be, and move on calmly and peacefully into whatever this new thing Spirit wants to bring in is. So what other messages do you have for me, Spirit? Okay, we got the Lovers, the Devil. So this definitely could be some kind of like breakup for some of you guys, or ending in like any kind of partnership when it comes to like work. We also got the Sun. I think you're really being called to, again, stop fighting. Like we can see that again with the Nine of Wands and then the Two of Swords. But I really think you're being called to stop stressing about this and just go into your kind of positive, happy place. I feel like you being in a positive, peaceful energy, you being your best self, you being calm, you being happy, you being blissed out and peaceful and high vibrational is going to bring out the best outcome for you. You know, the more we stress about a situation, the more we put negative energy into it, the more we see negative things in it, the more those things grow. The more we see positivity, the more we can come to a place of peace and calm and light and feeling good, then the more that energy expands. So whatever this situation is, maybe for some of you guys, there's not a permanent ending. Maybe there is a way to fix this situation, but I do feel like the more stress you put in, the more you are freaking out about it, the more anxious you are, the more you allow yourself to just ruminate and be worried and be nervous and be freaking out, the worse it's going to get. And the more you can go to that place of calm, peacefulness, shining brightly like the sun, doing your own thing, radiating a positive energy, the more you're going to pull that energy to you and transmute this situation into something more positive. Let's get into some of these cards for pile number 1. What messages do we have for pile 1, Spirit? What messages do we have for pile 1? The perfect storm, the courage to step into life, unmarked trail, revelation, stranger, curiosity, and caterpillar, opportunity. So this is a beautiful opportunity for you guys. This is not a bad thing. Whatever is going on in your life, just be aware, like this is not happening against you, to you. This is happening for you. This is a blessing. This is a good thing. It's an opportunity for growth. It's an opportunity for increased abundance, joy, happiness in your life. This is not happening against you or in some kind of negative way. And maybe it's scary. I think it's often scary when we're taken off something we know or something we can trust. And it's so funny how we as humans get so attached to that. Again, I mentioned it before, but I feel like it comes up in a lot of readings because it's something that we all need to continuously remind ourselves of. But like the time I was staying in this hotel, there was always this really loud noise at 7 a.m. And finally I went down to the front office and I was like, you know, what's going on with the noise? Is there any way someone could do something about that? And they were like, oh no, but you could move rooms. And I was like, oh, I definitely don't want to move rooms. I like the view. I like everything about that room except the noise. I'm good. I don't want to move. And they kind of like low-key forced me to move. Like they were very insistent, like, no, try this new room. We have a new room for you. So finally I'm like, okay, I'll move. But I did not want to go. I didn't want to pack my stuff up. And I was thinking of all these worries about the new room. The view was going to be awful. And, you know, I liked how quiet my room was. What if there's a lot of noise in the new room? Blah, blah, blah. And sure enough, the new room was so much better. The view was better. Everything about it was fantastic. And I was like, I wish I had just moved earlier. I wish I hadn't even let this go on for a few days of being woken up at 7 a.m. because that was annoying. And I'm so glad I was willing to take that risk, even though it wasn't much of a risk, but I was so glad I was willing to kind of trust the unknown. And I think it almost seems funny in retrospect, like, what were you worried about? It's a hotel room. Like, of course it's not going to be some kind of like dungeon of, you know, like horrible, disgusting room. But I was just, my mind was worrying. And I think so many of us, we fall into that, like we're being called to leave a situation, but we stay really attached, or we really just don't want that change. We really want to stay where we are, and we kind of can get stuck in stagnant energy doing that. And as scary as it is to set out on this unmarked trail, or to step into life and embrace the unknown, I really feel like that is the point of life. That is something we are very much called to do as humans. And it's really why we come to this earth, is to learn. And in astrology, for example, learning, higher education is ruled by Sagittarius, which is the 9th house of Sagittarius, which is also the house of travel and kind of these unknown adventures, right? And it's because we learn so much from that. We learn so much from like packing our bags up and heading off to a new destination and not knowing what's going to happen. There's some kind of spiritual magic in that. There's some kind of magic in being willing to take that step, and to trust the process and to trust spirit and to know that spirit is not doing it against us, or spirit is not trying to mess with us. If something is leaving our life, it's a really good practice just to embrace that, just to allow it to flow on out and to allow the new thing, whatever it is, to enter in instead of clinging to some kind of past thing that at least we were certain of. So yeah, I think you guys are, possibly, if this is a relationship thing, there may be new people that want to come in with this stranger curiosity card. If it's a work situation, there may be a new, company that's looking at your resume or that you could apply for. That could be really lucrative. But, on to the next. I think you guys need to have that attitude that like, yeah, this was fun. I enjoyed it, but also I'm ready for the new challenge. So let's see what other cards we're going to get for pile number 1. What messages do we have for pile 1, Spirit? What messages do we have for pile 1? Surrender to the journey. And what I feel like that's exactly what I have been saying. Like, this is about not trying to control, not trying to change the outcome anymore. You are really being called to drop these ones and to stop trying to like fix a situation and trying to work it out. I think that's one of the worst things that happens at the end of, a situation where we're trying to preserve it, whether it's a job, whether it's a relationship. It's almost like a lot of times we'll know something's wrong. Like I said, that feeling in the pit of your stomach, that gut feeling, we know it's off, but we kind of scrabble around like, well, maybe I can fix it. Well, maybe I can do this. And what if I tried that and blah, blah, blah. And sometimes you just have to let the energy be what it's going to be. Because 9 times out of 10 too, if it's an energetic mismatch, it's just an energetic mismatch. And there's not even that much you can do. Like this is, and now people are going to say, because I always mention her, but Taylor Swift, like I think it's interesting that she wrote so many breakup songs at the end of her relationship with her ex Joe, like Midnights. I mean, when they broke up and everyone was like, I can't believe it, I'm shocked. I was sorry guys, I had to pause filming because my camera ran out of space. But as I had been saying, I felt like at the end of the breakup, I wasn't surprised at all because there were so many breakup songs on her last few albums, and there was clearly a lot of like pain, and then there'd be songs about like, well, we got through the hard time, yay. But I was thinking like, that just doesn't seem super stable to me. And it's funny because it does feel like it was a relationship that maybe Taylor put a lot of work into and, was constantly kind of doing this like trying to fix the situation or trying to like almost editorialize it and be like, no, it's actually romantic that we fought and we got over it. You know what I mean? Which I think is very relatable. I think a lot of people maybe have been in friendships or romantic relationships like that where you kind of argue a lot, but then you try to like push through it. But ultimately, I do think the energy is the energy is the energy. And if you're always fighting, or if you're always, stressing out about your boss and they just are always like giving stress to you or whatever, it doesn't even necessarily mean that person is a bad person or that, they're evil or whatever. It could just mean, yeah, this is an energetic mismatch. This is not for me and it's not for them either. And I can take what I'm going to take with me and I'm going to allow things to unfold. And if it's meant to work out, if we're meant to find each other again, of course we will. But if it's not, it's not. And I'm not going to stress. I'm not going to be upset about it. I'm going to allow things to just flow. And yeah, I think there's sometimes a lot of wisdom in just kind of putting down your, sometimes people say you have to fight for relationships, blah, blah, blah. And I think that's true. Of course, all relationships have some element of, and by relationships in general, I don't just mean romantic, I mean general relationships, whether it's with family, friends, coworkers, your boss, even your relationship you have to work. Yeah, there's some element of having to push through difficulty, but if it's giving you a constant pit in your stomach, if you're constantly anxious and freaking out about it, that's something you really need to listen to. So let's get some more cards for pile number 1. What messages do we have for pile 1? Overcoming obstacles. You can overcome anything, okay? Reaching your destination. Your light is shining brightly, and you guys got 2. Answering the call, the time is now, and staying focused, hold the course. So yeah, I think honestly, this is a message of empowerment. This is a message that, you need to stay focused with your eyes on the prize a little bit of what you're trying to do in your life, what kind of a life you're trying to build for yourself. And if that's a life that you want it to be really peaceful and positive and happy and joyful, then you're going to have to maybe let go of those things that take away from your peace or are constantly stressing you out. And sometimes that can be the worst pill to swallow, because it feels like giving up, or it feels like, oh, this could have been so good, or I was really attached to this and it was supposed to work out this way and I got really excited about it. But there's so many different possibilities that we have. And sometimes we're trying to stay in a situation that we've even outgrown, or we have learned the lesson, we're ready to move on, we keep trying to stay to it. With overcoming obstacles, again, for some of you guys, there may be a way to fix this situation. I'm not saying, this is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest. For some of you guys, this situation may not be over in your life, and you may be called to stay in it and to continue to learn whatever lessons, or maybe the situation can improve, and again, use your intuition, see what resonates for you. But I do feel like your goal or your homework or task that Spirit is giving you is just to shine your light brightly and to really be the highest version of yourself, and to make sure you're in alignment with that. Make sure you're doing things that keep you feeling positive, feeling joyful, feeling happy. Make sure you're doing things that are in your best interests, instead of prioritizing another situation over you, or trying to make it work, or trying to twist yourself into a pretzel. Because the healthiest situation, be it work-wise, be it romantic, be it friend, family, whatever, the best situation is going to be one where they are happy when you're happy. Things are positive, things flow, things feel exciting and beautiful, and there's not constant stress, constant tears, constant upset, And when you do get into that energy that's easy, that flows, that's just feels like melting into it, and it doesn't feel like a bunch of struggle, and it doesn't feel like a bunch of work, and it doesn't feel like you're ripping your hair out and just trying so hard and why can't this work? It's so unmistakable how beautiful that energy is and how much you know this is for you. So yeah, that is what I have for you. Pile number one, I really hope it resonates. Let me know if it does down in the comments, and also make sure to give this reading a thumbs up, hit the like button, and subscribe. And if you want to see more of my readings, then head on over to my Patreon. I just posted a reading all about how you can improve your love life and get a boyfriend. And before that, I posted a career reading, a money reading. There's so many recent readings over there, I can't even keep track. So if you're interested in joining, there are over 80 exclusive readings you'll only get access to on Patreon, and you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. They always get posted over there first. If all that sounds good to you and you're interested in signing up, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments and the description and join me on Patreon. Also, I do private readings, so if there's a situation you really need clarity on, some guidance about, you really want to understand what's happening from a tarot or astrology perspective, you can get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. Also, if you just want an energy check-in and to see what your guides have to say to you, that works too. So like I said, a link is in my description for that, briarrosetarot.com. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm sending you so much love and light, and I will see you again very soon in another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey, pile two. So if you guys picked this card, this is going to be your reading. So you guys got adjacent possibilities, and for your other cards, you got second chakra, Archangel Ariel, fourth chakra, Archangel Raphael, cornucopia, and rest and rejuvenation. So I feel like you guys are going to be having a major blessing, major change happening for you, and this feels really, really positive. Like I immediately got a little burst of energy and a feeling of positivity as soon as I tuned into your energy. So it feels like whatever this is going to bring you a huge amount of joy, happiness. This could be a career boost, especially, or some kind of influx of money. I feel like you're also getting some recognition for something that you've wanted for a long time. So it's almost like your efforts are being seen and rewarded in a different way than they have in the past. In the past, maybe you felt a little overlooked. Maybe you felt like there were times when people just didn't notice you, or didn't really appreciate what you were doing, or overlooked you. And I feel like it's almost like this is your time to shine. This is your time to have the spotlight on you a little bit more. And I am hearing for some of you guys, a new opportunity may be appearing. So it may even be like a new career or a new job or something within the same career, but like a new position or a new client or something. But I feel like there's something very new that wants to come in, like a new opportunity. And I am seeing a move for some of you guys. They just showed me either some travel or a move. Could be traveling as well, like a trip, that kind of a thing. But I feel like whatever this is, you're really being called to like move forward, be bold, be excited about this, and to really be willing to step in, which it doesn't feel like there's a lot of resistance on your end. So I feel like you're going to be willing and open to this. It feels like whatever it is, it again is something you've wanted for a long time. And also I feel like you're ready. Maybe you felt because the energy has been stagnant for a while, like you have been hoping for that. And when it comes in, you're going to fully embrace it, which is what I definitely think you should do. For some of you guys as well, there may be more of an opportunity to rest, to calm down, to be chill. Also, it could be that with this rest and rejuvenation card, that maybe whatever this new opportunity is allows you a little bit more sleep, a little bit more rest. Maybe there's like a change in your position and it's like, hey, you don't have to work as hard, or hey, you don't have to be on this crazy schedule you were on or something. I feel like you may be getting more sleep. And I am hearing for some of you guys, there's going to be someone from your past contacting you. So only some of you guys, but you may be getting a message from an ex or like an old friend, old family member you don't really talk to or you're not super close with now. I feel like there's going to be people reaching out to you, maybe because you are in the spotlight, maybe because more people are noticing you and are aware of you at this time. But I feel like, yeah, there's going to be a lot more attention on you. And also, there's a lot of messages for you guys too. I am hearing some of you guys are going to be really, really creative, and Raphael really helps with creativity. He's very creative. So I feel like for you guys, you may have the creative juices flowing and really want to, put something out there or write something or paint something or redecorate your house. But yeah, it feels like this is a really, really good time. Maybe this is going to be more of a positive eclipse happening for some of you guys and less negative. But yeah, it feels really good. So let's get into some of your astrology and see what kind of astrology, the tarot, and see what kind of tarot you're going to be getting. What kind of change? Ooh, I love the Four of Cups. One of my favorite cards, honestly, in tarot, to be honest. So we got the Four of Cups, we got the Three of Swords. What messages do we have for pile number 2, Spirit? We got the Hermit. Okay. There's something as well about you being more authentic, like more authentically yourself in a way that I feel like maybe it has been hard to be for a while for some reason. Maybe some of you guys were in a job where people didn't really like the real you, or you were in a relationship where you felt you had to edit yourself. I feel like this is almost like going back to your silly, goofy self and your routine and the things you like to do. Ooh, 10 of Pentacles. But it does feel like there's a payoff in your career or some leveling up, status, recognition that you're getting with that. And the Six of Cups. I love that. What a beautiful card to end on. So yeah, there's so much positivity coming in, and definitely a focus on work to a certain extent, because we got a lot of Pentacle cards, and then we also got a lot of Cup cards. So it feels like your emotional, possibly relationships, and your work is definitely being highlighted for sure. With relationships, I feel like this could again be being appreciated more. It's almost like your presence is being felt, or maybe for some of you guys, your absence is being felt. And there may be people who are missing you or really almost realizing what they don't have access to anymore. And so that you may be on their mind, and they may be like deciding to send that risky text or to reach out or to call. I feel like for some reason, maybe that's validating for some of you guys. Maybe you didn't really feel like the person cared, or like you hadn't heard from them in a while and you were like, okay, so they obviously don't give a F, so whatever. And now you're like, okay, at least it's good to know. And there may be even like some forgiveness or some talking through of issues that could happen. I could see that for some of you guys. I feel like this is definitely something that it's almost like the more you're in your own energy, the more you're able to celebrate yourself, do your own schedule, do your own thing. I feel like the better things are for you. And the more that energy really radiates out. So even though it may seem counterintuitive, it's almost like you might get more appreciation at work the more you are like chilling out on the weekends, and the more you decide that, like, no, I am going to leave the office exactly at 5 p.m. on Friday, even though everyone else like pretends to work late and kind of hangs around. I'm leaving at 5 and I'm going to go home and watch a movie and pop some popcorn and just crash. And that may seem like counterintuitive to others, you know, like, okay, so you're slacking off, or so you're not working as hard. But I do feel like you being in your own energy is just very magical. There's something very magical about it, and very, like, it's almost like you have this elfin fairy quality, I want to say, to you, like this kind of mischievous, playful quality. And I feel like the more you remove yourself from like really stressful situations, or situations where people expect so much of you and kind of hold your feet to the fire, and the more you can find yourself in situations that allow you to be your beautiful, fun, playful, energetic self, I feel like the better things get for you, and the more that energy really radiates out and is obvious to others. So that may be why you hear from someone after a while, why they want to be around you. I also feel like your energy, it's almost like there may be someone in your life that you need to give space to, or that they need to see the absence of you and see what it's like when you're not around, in order for them to really miss you and for them to feel that kind of lack in their life. I also could see some of you guys in this pile meeting someone new. With the Four of Cups, that's what's coming to my mind, is like meeting someone new, and having like a really fun, beautiful relationship, or even like flirting with someone from your past, reconnecting with someone from your past. Like I said, that there's a strong energy around that, but I almost feel like there could be two energies, like connecting with someone from your past where it's a heavy like discussion of like, let's talk this out, or, you know, some kind of apology or something. But then there's also like a really lighthearted energy of like a positive, just like silly, funny reunion, or catching up with a friend about like something goofy. I feel like it's almost like you're kind of finding yourself again after a situation where you have felt a little bit lost, or you felt a little bit smothered, or you felt like you couldn't really be your best version of yourself. And I feel like now you're kind of finding your identity back, getting your energy back, recharging your batteries, coming back to who you really are. You may even be picking up, some of you guys, like a new workout routine, fitness routine, or health routine. And it feels like you may be getting stronger because of that, and getting more physically fit, and really focusing on that, really focusing on like building your own physical energy, building your own physical strength, having strengths within your body, and not feeling weak, or feeling, yeah, it's almost like, whether this is emotional or whether it's physical, I feel like you're no longer feeling weak. There was some situation that I almost feel like was sapping away your power, or was making you feel a little bit like a shell of yourself, or not feel as strong. And I feel like that situation, whatever it is ending, and you're getting into a situation where you are able to shine your absolute brightest. The Strength card, of course, connects with the Sun and Leo. So for you guys, I feel like you are really learning to shine your beautiful bright light out as brightly as possible. I also feel like you're being a little bit more selfish. Leo can be a selfish energy, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I always say the Sun is exalted in Aries, which is a selfish energy as well. So we're supposed to be a little selfish. And, you know, it is our lifetime on this earth. It is our time to come to earth and learn whatever lessons it is for us. So yeah, I feel like for you guys, and we got the Hermit as well, which of course is a very self-focused energy. It's almost like you're starting to ask yourself, well, what do I want? Well, what feels good for me? And starting to prioritize yourself more over other people's needs or concerns. And I actually feel like, even though there may be some initial resistance to that, or maybe some resistant, like pushback, or kind of like almost anger or resentment of like, oh, really? So you're going to leave the office early today? Or, oh, really? So you're gonna, you know, like, you can't hang out this weekend? Wow. And kind of like being upset about it. Then it's like the next time they hang out with you, they can tell that your batteries are so recharged. They can tell that you feel really good. They can tell that you are firing on all cylinders and you're just your best version of yourself. So that resentment may start to fade away as they kind of start to see the effects of the fact that you're really able to fully recharge now. And you also may be taking a hard look at that and really taking a look at like, yeah, I don't feel like myself, or I don't feel my best version of the self. The Hermit also connects with Virgo energy. Virgo energy connects with the 6th house of health. So for you guys, this may even be somewhat affecting your health. If you've been feeling tired, if you've been feeling run down, if you've been feeling not like your best version, if you haven't been feeling the usual energy flow that you usually have, then this could be you being shocked by like, oh my God, I feel so much better now that I took a break from this situation, or now that I took a rest, or now that I got some space, or whatever the case may be. You may feel a lot more rested. You may feel a lot better. You may feel like you're able to eat the things you want to eat, or go to the places you want to go, do the things you want to do. And just having that like more chill vibe, less feeling like obligated to work may really benefit you. So let's get into some more cards for pile number 2. What cards do we have for pile 2? Deep, quiet, meditation, and stillness. Wow. So I can definitely see, we have 2 cards about meditation, that you guys are really being called to kind of pause, take a step back. And like I said, I feel like there has been a situation that's kind of low-key draining your energy. And I feel like a lot of this is coming into that place of calm and that place of peace, and no longer feeling like you have to run around like a chicken with its head cut off, or you have to stress out. And sometimes realizing that the more we stress about a situation, the more we freak out about it, the more we allow our mind to run away from us and go into a million scenarios and think, well, maybe I should do this. Well, what about that? Well, okay. And we just like let our mind go off to the races, the worse a situation gets. And funnily enough, the more calm we are, the more chill, the more we relax into it, the less resistance we have, the better that situation often turns out. I'm sure we've all had that experience where like we lose a remote control, or we lose our phone or our keys or whatever, and we're running around frantic, and we're turning over every pillow in the sofa, and we're searching in the fridge, we're searching everywhere, we can't find whatever it is, we're frantic, we're panicked, and then we finally relax and are like, whatever, and we find it right then, right? It reminds me, one time I was meeting a friend from out of town, she was coming in from out of town, and she's a Virgo, she's a perfectionist. And so I do have a lot of Virgo friends, even though I sometimes tease them about being perfectionists and being a little critical, some Virgos, not all. And so she is a little bit of a critical Virgo. Like, she will definitely be that friend that will call you out if, you're like, you have a slight tiny stain on your shirt, or if you have, your hair is a little unbrushed, like she will mention it. So of course, that was when I lost my keys, couldn't find them. They were like somewhere, and I must have turned over every inch of my townhouse. I was running around like, what is happening? And finally, I had to text her because I was like, I'm going to be so late. In fact, I was already late, and I texted her and I was like, I am so sorry. I can't find my keys anywhere, which I knew she was going to be like, okay, typical Briar. Like, yeah, this sounds about right for Briar, because I am forgetful. And she was like, I mean, I'm a Pisces, so yeah. And she was like, polite about it, but I knew she was thinking like, oh my gosh, so yeah, typical Briar. And so of course I was like embarrassed. I was like, why with this friend of all people? And then literally right after I sent the text, she was like, oh, no worries, I'll go home, we can meet up another time. I'm in town for another day or two, so let me know. Because I was like, I really couldn't go anywhere, and I guess I could have called an Uber, but it was super far. Anyway, so she left, or she was going to leave, and of course, right as that moment happened and I gave up on it, and I was like, okay, that's when I find my keys. They had fallen to the bottom of a case of water bottles I had bought, of all things. So typical like crazy Pisces event, I feel. But anyway, the point is that I just remember that moment of like, well, I guess I'm not going to meet her. Maybe I can meet her tonight. Maybe I can meet her tomorrow. Oh, well. And kind of feeling that disappointment and allowing it to happen. And that's when I found the keys, right? That's usually how it happens for us. The more we resist, the more we try to run around, and we're pushing against it and we're frantic and we're nervous and we're trying to fix the situation, the more it stays fixed. And the more we just relax and accept the situation, the disappointment, whatever it is, the more we release that situation and just allow it to be what it is, the better it happens for us. So I feel like for you guys, you're really being called to, you know, come into that place of peace and not try to fix or change a situation, but instead focus on your own energy. Focus on aligning yourself with positivity, yourself with your own growth and your own making sure you're in a really good place, making sure you are expecting abundance, expecting good things, expecting blessings, making sure that your energy is aligned with that. And the more that happens, I do think the better things will work out for you. So let's get some more cards for pile number 2. Okay, that one fell to the floor, but it says lost in space, needing direction. And let's get one more card for pile number 2. This one is heart, home, compassion. So I do feel like you're being called also to offer a lot of compassion and love to others and also to yourself, because I feel like sometimes you can be really harsh on yourself, put yourself through all kinds of crazy things, kind of like be harsh with yourself. And it's almost like you need to learn to be more of your best advocate as well and not be so harsh. Also thinking you have endless reserves of energy, thinking that you can just push yourself as much as possible, thinking that you can just you know, put yourself through the ringer. And I feel like sometimes you really need to kind of be more protective of yourself and look after yourself a little bit more. So you don't need to push yourself to the absolute limit every time. Maybe you can get into a place of more positivity. Maybe you can get into yourself into a place of being really gentle with yourself and allowing things to flow for you and not feeling that resistance of I'm going to push through even if I feel exhausted, but like honoring yourself, learning to really listen to your intuition, because often we do feel intuition in the body. I mentioned this in pile 1, but we mention it and we feel it in our gut. That's why we have gut feelings, or that's why when you're before a bad situation, you often get really nervous. I mentioned it before, but like when I missed a flight, well, I guess I missed 2 flights in my whole life, but this one, it was like kind of out of my control a little bit more. And it's funny because the whole day I just had this horrible feeling in my stomach and I kept wanting to vomit, which obviously is unusual. And I was like, what is happening? And I really thought I talked myself out of it. I was trying to be like positive. So I'm like, no, it's just you know, it's just nerves for the flight. For some reason, you're just nervous. But yeah, sure enough, that was the flight I missed. And I look back now like, duh, that's so obvious. You were the whole day feeling nauseous, feeling like weird, feeling out of sorts, feeling anxious, could barely sleep the night before. And so much of the time, our body is like screaming loudly at us to tell us something, but instead we just kind of try to block it out. And it's so important to learn to honor that. It's so important to learn to actually listen and pay attention and not just run over it and just kind of blow past it, but instead to really pull back and listen and give it some space to talk to us, because our body does want to talk to us. They do want to give us guidance and, you know, answers and tell us what's going on, but a lot of times we're not even open to listening. So let me get some message cards for you. Pile number 2. What messages do we have for pile number 2? What messages do we have for pile number 2? Uncovering treasure. Beneath the surface lies great bounty. And I love that for you guys, because again, I really do sense that there may be a financial glow up, some kind of career blessing happening, a career promotion, or increased visibility for you guys. I feel like some of you guys are going to be seen more by others, recognized more by others. There may be people that overlooked you in the past that are suddenly paying attention, and you just seem to be getting more visibility, or the focus or the attention, the spotlight is on you more at this time. And so there could be a financial glow up as well. There could be financial blessings. I am hearing for some of you guys, if you are having that eclipse in like a financial house, like the 2nd and 8th house axis, then it may be important for you to, you know, be conservative with your money, because you never quite know what an eclipse is going to do. But of course, eclipses also like kind of prepare us and teach us lessons. So either way, it's a blessing, whatever lesson comes in. And I feel like you're really being called to, yeah, look after yourself, be smart, be strategic, but also be optimistic and welcome in these blessings, because I feel like we got a lot. We also have a lot of dragon imagery. Maybe some of you guys are dragons. I think that would be like 2088, 76, I think. But yeah, this is the year of the dragon that we're in right now. So very positive. And I feel like for you guys, this could be your year. If you are a dragon or just in general, the dragon is an extremely lucky zodiac. In fact, in the Chinese zodiac, they don't really mess around with being like, oh, all signs are great. They're like, no, the dragon's the best, like, period. And they're very like blunt about it. So this is a really benefic year. This could be a powerful year for accomplishing things. The dragon is a very bold, unafraid energy and also kind of selfish. So again, I feel like you're really being called to level up yourself, step into your most powerful energy the way a dragon does, and embrace your power instead of holding it back or trying to make other people more comfortable by not being the biggest version of yourself you can be. Let's get some more messages for pile number 2. So we got crossing bridges. It's time for healing, connecting, mending, and releasing. Miracles. Expect the wondrous to emerge. Grounding. Go deep. Explore your roots. And let's get one more. Okay. Protected by angels. You are cherished by the angels. So, and as I'm looking at my timer, 2222. So 222. Wait, 2222. Yeah, angel number and 2s in angel numbers are all about connection with others. So again, I mentioned it before, but this could be a great time to talk with someone from your past, to have some kind of deep conversation, or to have a heart to heart. I feel like for some of you guys, this may be about connecting with someone that there was bad blood with, or patching things up a little. It could also be about welcoming in a new relationship, or having a connection with someone from your past, but it's just that reassuring, like, oh, it was so great to talk with that friend. Or it's not necessarily a super heavy energy, but I do feel like there's going to be a lot of people thinking of you at this time. I feel like you're going to be on a lot of people's minds, and if you're open to it, this could be a great time to really, open your heart up and allow for that connection and to let those people in, because I do feel like quite a lot of people really miss you, and feel your absence, feel the lack of your presence around them, and definitely want to have you around them, and definitely wish they could be near you, or may even be having regrets about certain ways they treated you. For you, I feel like you're really being called not necessarily to be resistant to it or angry or whatever. Of course, you can choose who you let into your life and who you don't, but just being in your positive, highest vibrational self, in your, energy of looking out for yourself, being positive, doing the things you love, feeding into the things you love instead of focusing on anything you don't like. I think that is going to allow you to make the right decision about these old connections, whether you want to welcome them in, whether you want to embrace them, or whether you want to leave them completely in the past. Totally up to you. But I do feel like you're going to have some of those opportunities for connection with others, whether it's a new person, whether it's an old person that you've already let go of. Either way, it feels like there's going to be a beautiful opportunity for connecting with another human. But yeah, that is what I have for you, pile number 2. I really hope it resonates. Thanks for letting me drink in your beautiful positive energy with this reading. If it resonates, let me know down in the comments. I always love hearing from you guys. And also make sure to give this reading a thumbs up, hit the like button, and subscribe. And if you want to see more of my readings, head on over to my Patreon. I just posted a reading all about how to improve your love life or get a boyfriend. And before that, I posted a career reading, also a money reading, but there's so many readings over there. I can't even remember all the recent ones I posted. There are over 80 exclusive readings you'll only get access to on Patreon, and you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. So if that sounds good to you and you're interested in signing up, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments in the description and join me on Patreon. Also, if you would like to get a private session with me, you can get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. If you have a really specific situation you want or need clarity on, you want some guidance about, you want to see what the tarot has to say, then we can do that. or if you are just wanting an energy check-in and to hear from your guides, angels, ancestors, team on the other side, and kind of keep it open-ended, let them take control of the reading and see what they want you to know, we can do it that way as well. So if you're interested in a session with me, like I said, head to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I am sending you so much love and light, and I will see you again very soon in another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey Pile 3, welcome to your reading. So if you picked this Temple Path card, this is going to be your reading. So let's get into your other cards. You guys also got the World, Victory, Third Chakra Archangel Chamuel, and Action. So there is such a fun energy around you, Pile 3. It feels like one thing that's changing is that your life is about to get a lot more exciting. There may be more opportunities if you're wanting to date, if you're single. You may be going on a lot more dates and having a lot more interest in you in general. Your social calendar may be picking up. You may feel very booked and busy, or if you're at work, you might be getting a lot of new opportunities or even getting more busy with clients, but it feels like it's in a fun way. It feels like whatever this is, like you're really enjoying it. It could even be increased visibility for you in some way, more people paying attention to you, or you being more of a head turner. I also could just see you having more physical energy around you at this time, and just feeling very energetic, like picking up a new workout routine or not really needing as much sleep and like deciding that you're gonna, start waking up early to go watch the sunset or something like it, or the sunrise, I guess. It feels like you're just full of energy and things are really flowing for you. I'm also hearing some of you guys are gonna get clarity about a major event in your life. So there feels like there's something that maybe you have been debating, going back and forth about, like some kind of major decision you've had to make and you really haven't known how to approach it or what to do next. And if you are in that situation, I do feel like you are going to be given some kind of answer. You're going to get that guidance, you're going to get that download. Maybe it could, I'm hearing for some of you guys, it's going to come in the form of dreams. Definitely pay attention to what happens in your dreams, especially when you're struggling with a new decision, or if you have some new thing happening in your life and you get like a really vivid dream, that one of those dreams you remember in the morning, good or bad. Those are such powerful omens. Like if you're, dating someone new and you have a really beautiful positive dream and get visited by an ancestor, that's probably a blessing. If it's a really negative dream and it's a nightmare and you wake up screaming, that's obviously probably a no. So pay attention to that, because I do feel like for some of you guys, it could come in the form of your dreams. But I'm hearing like once you get the go ahead with this, it's almost like all steam ahead. Like I'm seeing a train leaving the station, like a steam train. It's going really fast. So I do feel like whatever clarity you get, whatever kind of answer you get to this, it's like, okay, now I know what to do and now we can just go ahead. We don't have to like wait anymore. So it feels very calming that like now and now you can actually take action and you don't have to be waiting in the wings to figure out what you're supposed to do. I feel like whatever this is, it does feel, like I said, really positive. We did get the Victory card, we got the World card. So those are success cards, and this could even be success in like a legal issue for some of you guys, not everyone. I also feel like for some of you guys, this could be like an opportunity that you never thought you'd get. Kind of like if you apply to a bunch of colleges and there's one like long shot that you're like, yeah, I'm probably definitely not going to get into that college, but let me just apply, whatever. I'll just go for it, even though I don't think I have the grades and there's probably no way I'm going to get in, and then like getting approved and being like, what the heck? I feel like that's what's coming to my mind. Obviously, I know a lot of you guys are not applying to colleges right now, but it could be an opportunity for something that you're like, there's no way, how did this happen? Or like dating someone that they just come out of the blue and they really like you and they're obsessed with you, and it's you kind of having to embrace that. And having like, maybe there's a part of you that's like, oh, I didn't think someone like that would like me, or I didn't know I was capable of this kind of relationship, or I didn't know things could be so good. But it feels like whatever it is, it's a really happy surprise and kind of like something that you're like, huh, okay, I didn't think I could pull this off, but this is freaking awesome and I love this, and it's really positive and really happy. And it does feel like it brings you success. It feels like it brings you fulfillment, and there may be a level of professional recognition with the World card, some kind of status that you achieve, or some kind of leveling up or new level that you guys reach. The world is a completion card, so it often shows the end of a cycle and the fact that we've, worked through whatever energy and we've mastered that. So maybe you guys reach a new level of mastery. I could even see this being like a new hobby you're taking on, or mastering an old hobby, or reaching some kind of milestone. Like maybe you write as a hobby, and you've just been writing a book, but you don't know if you're ever going to publish it or anything, but you've been writing it and it's like you finally finish it. Or maybe you finish it and then you're like, I kind of want to apply to the publishers. Let me see if I can do this. And you do, and you get accepted. It just feels like whatever this is, it's a very happy surprise. And it feels like it's kind of a full circle moment, or a moment of kind of like a pat on the back that you're giving yourself. So let's get into some tarot for pile number 3. What tarot do we have for pile number 3? What tarot do we have for pile number 3? Okay, we got 2 cards. The 3 of Wands. Yeah, I could definitely see this being a very strong travel energy for a lot of you guys, broadening your horizons, exploring a lot more. The Knight of Wands, okay. The Queen of Cups. And both of those are very like dynamic cards that people are very drawn to. They can have a lot of charisma. They can be people that could be players if they would like to be. Like they have that kind of game, they have that kind of draw to them that a lot of people are like, ooh, I want to talk to the Queen of Cups, or I want to talk to the Knight of Wands. They kind of have this like glamour around them, and I feel like you guys will definitely give off that vibe. So yeah, we also got the Hierophant, the 9 of Cups, 7 of Cups, the 4 of Pentacles, the Emperor. I think those were the cards I didn't name off. So yeah, there's a lot of really positive success cards. This could be you getting like a new level of authority. We have the Hierophant and we got the Emperor. So people may be looking up to you in a way that they didn't before. I almost feel like people who took you for granted, or people who didn't really see your full vision, or kind of like, I want to say made a joke out of you, or like didn't think you could accomplish anything, are kind of like being forced to take notice of you. So it does feel like whatever happens with your career or who you are, how you present in public, there's some visible level of success that people are having to see. There's some level of people being like, wow, look at pile number 3. Look at all they've done. Look at how far they've come, and look at all that they're accomplishing. And I do feel like you guys are building a really firm foundation with whatever this is. And it feels like there's plenty of time to celebrate, because we did get the 9 of the 9 of Cups, which is a really beautiful success card, and it also can talk about wishes coming true. And it's just that feeling of happiness. It's almost like going out to celebrate with your friends and taking shots at the bar and dancing and just having a really fun night out. So I also feel like this could just be a joyful time for you. If you travel, you could be traveling to like a social destination. Like you could be traveling to like Thailand or Mexico, or some kind of a country where there's like a scene of cool young people, you know what I mean? Or even if you're staying in your same country, you're going to a part of the country where there's like a lot of social opportunities to meet people, to be out and about. It feels like whatever this is, there's a lot of fun. It's not like one of those vacations where you're just sitting inside, like getting a massage in a private room. It feels like you're going to be out socializing, having the time of your life, laughing, enjoying. And I really feel like you're being called to embrace this. There is a message for some of you guys that maybe you self-sabotage when these things start to happen, or when things get good in your life, you tend to like put the brakes on. And there's a really strong message coming in that Spirit doesn't want you to mess this up. They're saying, don't F this up, actually, in my mind, which I don't think I can say on YouTube. But anyway, that's what they're saying. So I feel like sometimes when things are going really well for you, you kind of sabotage, or you don't trust it. So you kind of like ruin it. And I feel like Spirit is saying, like, why are you doing this? And you need to have some faith in yourself, and you need to be willing also to sit in that place of uncertainty, and to sit in that place of resistance, and to sit in that place of like, this is so good, and yeah, that's scary for me, because sometimes when things are going so well, I panic, I freak out, and I worry about everything getting ruined. And it's really hard for me, but I'm not going to give in to that. I'm going to allow myself to enjoy. I'm going to allow myself to embrace it. I'm going to stay with this energy, and I'm not going to sabotage or bail out of it. You know, I always think if a situation ends or if a situation gets messed up, but you did your absolute best and you gave it your all, then you can at least have peace on it. You can be like, well, whatever, I tried, it didn't work out. Okay. But if there was a situation that you deliberately sabotaged or that you didn't apply for, then I think that gives you some kind of mental pause. Like I told you guys before, I was really horrible at sports growing up, and I literally think about sports 0 out of 10 times. I never sit around thinking like, I wish I'd been better at soccer or I wish I'd been better at volleyball, because I know I was just really bad at them. But there was one sport that I was doing really well at. I had applied, my friends kind of wrote me into trying out for the cheerleading team. So we were like a group of 3. We all go to try out for cheerleading, and the cheerleaders really liked me in particular, and they kind of like talked to me or gave me like a little like, hey, you're doing really good, by the way, and like smiled at me and stuff. So I knew, I was like, oh, I think I'm actually finally good at a sport, because it wasn't like a sport. I think we weren't like one of those competitive cheerleading teams that does like flips in the air and stuff. So, you know, you could be as unathletic as I am and still do well. And then I remember the final tryout, which was like the 3rd one, and I pretty much felt like I knew I was a sure thing. But my friends and I like messed up the schedule. We ended up showing up early, and then because we were kind of bored because we had to kill another hour, we went and hung out by the fields, and we totally missed the fact that cheerleading practice had started or tryouts had started until they came out and ran around the field, and we were so embarrassed. We ended up just like laughing and running off the field. And then of course I couldn't go to them and be like, I'm sorry, I was with my friends and that was kind of stupid and we didn't handle it well. And even though it's not a big deal and I didn't particularly have a dream of being a cheerleader, there's always a part of me that's like, I really could have made that team and I screwed it up. And again, I'm someone who's horrible at all sports, and I literally never worry about any other sport, but that one sport is like maybe the only thing that I think, I wish I'd like given it a full shot. At least then if I hadn't made the team, but I had followed through on all the tryouts, then I would know like, okay, it's cool, I didn't make the team, you know, but I gave it my all. But the fact that it was such a stupid, ridiculous ending, like we thought it was kind of funny at the time, but it is one of those things that kind of like sits in the back of your mind where you're like, maybe I should have pushed harder on that, or maybe I should have like gone to them and been like, hey, I'm sorry, my friends and I turn into idiots when we're together and we messed up the schedule. Because I think they kind of thought we were like making fun of them, you know, whatever, but it was just an awkward situation. Anyway, and you know, I react to awkward situations by laughing. But my point is that I think the more we try to protect ourselves by like sabotaging or running away or not giving it our all, actually the more we hurt ourselves, and the more we are like, okay, let me give it everything. I just accidentally cursed, so I had to refilm that. But what I was saying is, if we mess up a situation and we still tried our hardest, we still do bad at it, we're probably going to have pretty much zero regret. We're not going to think about it. We're not going to spiral out about it. We're not going to be nervous about it or regretful. We're going to be like, yeah, I tried it and it didn't work. But the more we know, like, I could have done that, I had more to give, or I could have worked harder, or I could have done this, the more it's going to eat away. Even if it's something we didn't even really want in the first place, it's like that missed opportunity, it just hits different when we know we could have had it. We know we had worked just a little harder or done something different. It just hits us differently. And so I feel like for you guys, you're really being called, like, don't sabotage this. Be serious about it. Give it your all. Do as much as you can. Work hard on this. Push yourself. And sometimes, you know, when we're doing something new, when we're kind of rewiring those pathways in our brain, it does feel uncomfortable, because also, like, a lot of those pathways in our brain are trauma pathways or things that get established during childhood that aren't necessarily super healthy. Those ideas we have of like, yeah, I'm not good in relationships, or yeah, I'm horrible at work, or I'm not that smart, or I'm, not really good at talking to people, so I can't deal with clients. Whatever we think, a lot of that is just pathways that are just wired that way, and just this kind of accepted like self-talk that we have. And Of course, it's going to be uncomfortable to unlearn that because they're wired deeply inside ourselves. They're kind of these deep neural little grooves in our brain that we're just used to like operating under. And of course, it's going to be uncomfortable and difficult to tell ourselves something totally different and flip that narrative. But it's so worth doing it. And then we're really fully able to tap into our full potential. So instead of allowing yourself to just say, I don't even want to meet with this client. I'm not going to meet with them because every time I meet with a client, I'm horrible at small talk. Everyone doesn't like me. What's the point? It's going to be awkward. I'm not going to do it. Maybe saying, I'm great with people. People really like me. And, maybe sometimes I've had a few awkward experiences, but so does everyone. And I'm a really good person. I'm sure they'll like me. And giving it your all and allowing it to be what it is. And then at the end of the interaction, if they don't like you, but you truly were confident, you truly tried with everything you can, then you're not going to have regret over what if. I wish I'd just tried. I wish I'd applied for it. I wish I'd given it some kind of a shot. So I feel like in a way, maybe this is like you stepping out of your comfort zone and being amazed at how good it can be. Being amazed, of course, it's not always going to be easy. I've also mentioned this before in other readings, but like I played this little memory game on my phone for a while, on my iPad for a while, where you have to like find different items in a scene. Anyway, the whole point is that what I found was once I'd played a scene a few times, it would be like so easy, and I would like be like, oh, this is so much fun, and I'd enjoy the memory game. But then as soon as I flipped to a new scene and I had to figure out I'd had to memorize, like the point is memorizing where the items are in the scene at first and then doing it as quickly as possible. So there would always be this kind of learning period where you'd be figuring out like, okay, so that item's over there and then that's on the left side of the screen. And all this is happening obviously unconsciously, but it would always annoy me. Anytime there was a new scene, I'd be like, oh, great. And I was so like, I would be tempted to go back to old scenes and play things that I'd already done just because it was like, okay, but that was so much easier in my head. And learning the new scenes, I was surprised by how literally it could be like physically uncomfortable. Like I'd be like, ugh, let me get this over with, And I think that says something so deep about us is how maybe a situation that we find uncomfortable or we just don't like it or we feel out of our comfort zone and it sucks and we're just hating the situation, it might not even be that bad. It might just be that we are out of our comfort zone in a good way. We're doing something new. We're learning something new. We are rewiring our brain in some way. That's a good thing. And yet we're not used to that feeling. And so we kind of turn it into a definite negative when it's not necessarily a negative. Sometimes it's just a learning curve and we're at that period of learning, just like when you started learning a language when you were a baby, I'm sure it wasn't comfortable, or when you were learning math or when you're learning a new subject in school, just because you don't know it or it's uncomfortable or you're like bored in class and you're like, I want to go play soccer outside with my friends. That doesn't mean that you're not supposed to be in that class or you can't do it or it's a sign that you should be somewhere else. Sometimes it just means that's where you're at now. You're going to be better the more you try, the more you're willing to learn, the more you open yourself up to it. So I just feel like for you guys, the message is about being willing to exist in this place of uncertainty or discomfort, being willing to stay with that feeling of, yeah, I don't feel like I know what I'm doing. I don't feel fully in my groove. It does feel a little uncomfortable. It is a little bit hard, but maybe that's a good thing. Some of the best things in life are hard at first. They take hard work. They're not just happening overnight. Again, that can be a really good thing. That can be a beautiful thing that is preparing us for a wonderful new destiny. Just like when you first hit the gym, just because you can't lift the 30-pound dumbbells the way the really strong dude in the corner can lift them, that doesn't mean you're not capable. It just means you're not at that level yet. Maybe you have to start with the 1-pound dumbbells and you're feeling like a little bit of an idiot standing in the corner lifting 1-pound dumbbells. But if you keep at it, you will get up to those 30-pounders. So I feel like for you guys, this is just about like, yeah, maybe there's something you're being called to do that is a little bit scary or a little bit outside your comfort zone. That doesn't mean it's a negative message saying this is not for you. So let me get some message cards for pile number 3. What messages do we have for pile 3? Okay, stranger curiosity. Yeah. You guys could be meeting new people, or this could just be about, again, that energy that if you think about even your best friends, they always started out at one point as a stranger. They started out as someone you don't know. And again, I think you're being called to really be okay with that uncertainty, to be really willing to exist in that place of, I don't know what's going to happen. Or yeah, maybe this could all go belly up and this could all suck and everything could go wrong. But you know what? I'm going to allow it to be what it is. I'm going to allow myself to be in this place of not knowing and of putting myself out there and being a little bit vulnerable. And if everything, completely falls to pieces, then everything completely falls to pieces. But at least if I did it on my end, I won't have regrets. I won't look back in bitterness thinking I should have done that. I will at least be able to be in a place of peace and calm and knowing that, I did what I could do. So yeah, we also got Winter's Dream, gestation period, the crossing, initiation. I feel like this could be a beautiful new, initiation to a different part of your life. This is a new opportunity to kind of level up and to transform who you are and to transform narratives you have about yourself. Things that you have told yourself about, like I said, I'm not good at blah, blah, blah. I'm horrible with people, or I'm not good in relationships, or I'm just a loner. I'm meant to be alone, or I'm just, I'm really bad at, organization at my job, but I'm good at that. It's like, well, are you really bad at it? I bet if you really sat down and did it, you'd be good at it. I saw a TikTok that went viral and it was some lady and she was like, I don't understand people who say they're bad at cooking. What do you mean bad at cooking? You can follow a recipe. And I gotta say, I agree. I just think cooking isn't that hard. I really like to cook. It's fun for me. So I cook all the time. And whenever someone's like, oh, I'm bad at cooking, I'm like, how? It's just chopping stuff up, throwing it in a pot, But that's my perspective. I always say other stuff like, oh, I'm not good at organization. But when I sit down and I actually organize, it's like, yeah, I can do it. Of course I can do it. And I feel like so many of those narratives we tell ourselves, whether it's I'm bad at cooking, whether it's I'm bad at organization, whether it's I'm bad at talking to people, whether it's I'm bad at literally anything. It's like, are you bad at it, or you just haven't been willing to stick with it? You just haven't been willing to sit through that period of sucking at it at first. That is the process of learning anything, because anyone can learn to cook, anyone can learn to organize, anyone can learn to transform their habits and their behaviors, there's so many people that once they're in the army and they learn to make their bed first thing in the morning, they'll make their bed that way for the rest of their life. And they're not gonna be like, yeah, I just don't feel like it, or I'm just not a type A person. I'm just not a Virgo energy person. So I'm just gonna leave my bed messy today. I hope that's okay with you, General. That would imply in the army. So they learn that whether they say they're an organized person or not, they're going to have to clean that bed up, and they get into that habit. And then it's like, oh yeah, I can do this. And I feel like for you guys, you're really learning your own capability. You're really learning that some of those limiting beliefs you've told yourself, or those things that you have thought for the longest time about yourself and you've said, and narratives you've told yourself, because those can be the most limiting. It's not even what other people say about us or to us. Sometimes it's what we think. It's about not, the mom that was critical. Maybe that planted the seed, but it's we take over and become our own biggest critic. And this is about you guys having your confidence and really maybe talking to yourself and saying stuff like, when next time you tell yourself oh, that conversation was awkward. I'm just so bad at small talk. I'm so awkward. I'm such an awkward person. Being like, no, I'm not. I'm great. I'm great with people. I love talking to people. Talking to people is easy for me. Everyone loves me, and really seizing that narrative back and making sure that your own inner voice, your own inner monologue is one that is supportive of you and supportive of your goals, not one that is self-critical. Let's get into some messages for pile number 3. What messages do we have for pile number 3? What is that? I guess it didn't fly out, so we're not going to read it. Great adventure. Take a risk, venture forward. Yes, definitely. You guys are being called to take these risks, venture forward. Don't be afraid. Finding sanctuary, opening up to your spiritual source. Wow. Begin now, take your first step, and breaking trail of breakthrough is at hand. I love that we got these two together, begin now, because sometimes that's actually the biggest breakthrough. Sometimes we wait for some big breakthrough in the future and we think of it, the breakthrough as the final moment of wow, everything paying off. But actually the biggest breakthrough, the biggest step on that journey is usually the first step. It's usually the beginning period when we're super uncomfortable, we hate it, we feel totally out of our element, we feel totally out of our depth, we're scared, we're like, God, this sucks, and we just want to find any level of safety. And I think that's what really our brain is trying to do. It's find sanctuary, find safety. Like whenever we are in a new situation, it's just like, oh my God, let me just try to find, like, it's like, have you ever been at a party and maybe you don't really know many people, and then you see someone you know, and even if you don't like that person very much, or even if you weren't close to them, or they kind of low-key annoy you a little bit, you're gonna make a beeline for them. You're gonna be like, oh my God, yes, Sarah. Even if you think she's like the most annoying person, you're like, I know her. Okay. Hey, Sarah, how are you? And you're going to like talk to her, even if you don't even really like her. And that's so wild when you think about it, because all those people standing around at the party, like the 20, 30 people at the party, there's such a better likelihood that you'll get along with one of them than with you do with Sarah, who you already know you don't really like or vibe with that well. But because of that sense of safety, because humans, we are so desperate to find safety, to find something we know, to find something we're familiar with, comfortable with, you'll make a beeline over to that person, even if you don't like them at all, just so you can have someone to talk to. And, you know, I think that's something we really have to be aware of in ourselves, is like this tendency towards going with what we already know, sticking around in situations that we already know the outcome, we already know how it's going to work, we already know we don't really like that person, but at least we're not having our sense of self threatened. At least we don't have to creep out of our comfort zone and really put things at risk. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to stay in the safety zone. And I really feel like your reading, considering it literally led off with the tarot being the Three of Wands, the first card we pulled was the World. Like, you are really being called to be bold and to be unafraid and to be really willing to set out and take risks, push yourself, get out of your comfort zone, be more honest, like send that risky text if you have to, or, you know, go out to that party where you don't know anyone, or sign up to do that hobby that you're completely clueless in, or go to the gym even though you don't even know how any of the machines work and you've never worked out a day in your life. This is like about you like seizing the day, even maybe literally traveling to somewhere you've never been. We learn so much from that, from travel. That's why, you know, travel is contained in the 9th house, which is the Sagittarius house, which is also the travel house, or it is the travel house. It's the higher learning house, and like high education, like, you know, getting your graduate degree or going to college, that's in the 9th house, and so is travel. And that is because we learn so much from traveling, from getting outside of our comfort zone. It's like, that is where we really, really, really level up, is when it's not even about specifically travel, because there's nothing that, I mean, there's, I guess, uniquely special things about travel, but what it really comes down to is that feeling that Sagittarius embraces so well, of that feeling of uncertainty that would drive most other signs crazy. And Sagittarians are like completely blissed out happy when they're like in a place where they don't know what the heck's going to happen next, and they love it, and they are totally willing to embrace the unknown. And that's why Sagittarius is also a highly spiritual sign, and ruled by Jupiter, very spiritual. So yeah, there's a lot of wisdom in kind of throwing caution to the wind, setting sail, setting out, and being willing to be bold and embrace adventure. So I feel like that's what you guys are being called to do in the future. And yeah, that is what I have for you, pile 3. I really hope that resonates. If it does, I would love to hear from you in the comments. So let me know what you think. Also, make sure to give this reading a thumbs up, hit the like button, subscribe, all that jazz. And if you want to see more of my readings, head on over to my Patreon. I just posted a reading all about how you can improve your love life and get a boyfriend. And before that, I posted a career reading and also a money reading and a love reading, but there's so many readings I kind of lose track. There's over 80 readings that you'll only find on Patreon, exclusive to Patreon, and you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. So they always get posted over there first. So if that sounds good to you and you're interested in signing up, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments, in the description, and join me on Patreon. Also, if you're interested in getting a private session with me, you can get that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. And whether you have some really specific questions you want to ask me, maybe a situation you need clarity on from the astrology or from the tarot. If you have something specific you need answers about, you can do that. If you are interested in just an open channeling session, an energy check-in, getting some guidance from your team on the other side, we can also do it that way. But if you're interested in that slot with me, go to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I am sending you so much love and light, and I will see you again very soon in another reading. Take care, guys.